A YouTube channel called Snap Saga posted what they're calling the Doomsday trailer this week, except the whole thing is AI generated because Marvel still hasn't put the real footage online. And the fact that people are already out here fabricating it tells you something. Because the actual trailer, the one 4,000 people in Las Vegas watched twice on April 16th because the crowd was too loud for Disney to just move on,
Yeah, boy.
has specific details in it that no AI reconstruction is going to get right. I've gone through every description from every journalist who was sitting in that room at CinemaCon, and there's one thing that every single person mentioned and almost nobody actually sat with. The first word Dr. Doom says in the Avengers Doomsday trailer that hits the hardest is "we." Something's coming, something we may not be able to deter. RDJ walked onto that stage to "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones. "Pleased to meet you, hope you guess my name," a song written from the perspective of a man who was never on your side and is only now giving you the chance to figure that out. That's the song Marvel chose for the first time the world sees Dr. Doom in action. And then the word is "we," delivered in a Latvian accent. But imagine if RDJ pulled out his Tropic Thunder soldier accent.
I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Legendary. But anyway, he speaks in an accent that sounds nothing like Tony Stark, over the ruins of the X-Mansion, before a single Avenger has appeared on screen yet. He's presenting himself as someone who belongs in the same coalition as the heroes, as the person who actually understands the threat when nobody else does. And in a room full of people who are scared and fractured and don't trust each other, that's genuinely enough. Now, here's what everyone reported from the opening shot and then immediately moved past. The Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters sign is lying face up in the dirt at the start of the trailer, and what seems weird to me is that the sign is on the ground like it was taken down rather than knocked down. When incursions happen, they burn through buildings and crack foundations and leave things on fire. They don't leave a sign sitting upright and face up in the rubble like someone unscrewed it and set it there. Something came to the X-Mansion before any of the multiverse chaos started, and what it did was specific and deliberate. And when the trailer cuts inside the building, the X-Men are nowhere near a team. Gambit is fighting Shang-Chi, Mystique is shapeshifted into Yelena Belova and is in a full fight with the real Yelena. Xavier and Magneto are in what looks like a goodbye conversation in the corner. The one group of heroes who have spent their entire existence being hunted and lied to by people in power, the group who would recognize a long con faster than the Avengers ever would, has been turned inside out before the opening act of the film. Whoever understood that they needed to go first understood this story very well. The armor is the next thing, and this is where the promo material gets genuinely interesting. In the HD shots from the Disney Merchandise Expo in China, the two fasteners on Doom's chest holding his cape in place are shaped like Mjolnir and the Holostar from Captain Marvel's suit. And cut into the armor itself are markings that multiple outlets confirmed match Shang-Chi's 10 rings and Kamala Khan's bangle. He needs those artifacts. The rings for energy, the bangle to stabilize his power across 3 universes that are colliding with each other. But the functional thing to do would be to integrate them into the engineering where they can actually do their job. Instead, they're on the outside of the suit, sitting on his chest and arms where anyone standing in front of him can see them. He walked into a room with the symbols of Earth's greatest heroes displayed on his body like decorations, visible to the exact people those symbols belong to. He's been in those fights. He chose to document them this way. On April 5th, Easter Sunday, RDJ posted art of Dr. Doom holding a basket of painted eggs with a Marvel hero logo on each one. Thor's hammer, Shang-Chi's rings, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, all of them. And every outlet immediately ran to the Spider-Man angle because there's a webbing egg sitting in that basket, and Peter Parker still has no official cast confirmation for Doomsday. No announcement, nothing from Marvel. Either RDJ posted without thinking and an entire PR team let it go, which is quite impossible, or he was told exactly what he was allowed to show and the Spider-Man egg was on the list. The second possibility is worth sitting with. But what got buried in every breakdown after one sentence is that the Captain America shield in that basket is dripping blood, and the Avengers egg is cracked. And in the artwork, Doom is holding a paintbrush because he made these himself. He's looking down at the basket. This is a man looking at what he's done, and Robert Downey Jr. put it in an Easter post because that's the one format nobody looks at closely enough to really see. And before we get into the next one, if you've made it this far, you're clearly not a casual. Subscribe. This channel lives in this stuff until December. Back to the trailer. Thor charges Doom with Stormbreaker, the axe that killed Thanos, and Doom stops it with 2 fingers without moving his feet, which is the shot everyone's been talking about since the description started leaking out of Las Vegas. Joe Russo said from the stage at CinemaCon that Doom is stronger than Thanos, and Doom is now the 6th character in MCU history to stop one of Thor's weapons, which tells you exactly where he sits relative to everything else in this universe. But why is Thor carrying Stormbreaker in the first place? The second Doomsday teaser back in December confirmed that India Rose Hemsworth is returning as Love, the daughter Thor adopted at the end of Love and Thunder, the girl he gave Mjolnir to. In the CinemaCon trailer, Thor has Stormbreaker, which is the weapon he first picked up after Asgard was gone and the people he loved were dead. He carries it when Mjolnir isn't available to it. Love is confirmed in this film, and her hammer ends up flying into Steve Rogers' hand at the end of the trailer, so the question of why Thor doesn't have it, why he shows up to this fight carrying the grief axe, is something that the film is deliberately holding back. What isn't hard to figure out is that Doom, who Joe Russo called always 3 moves ahead, on that same stage, knew exactly which version of Thor was coming at him. The one who charges when he's already been broken open, the one who stops thinking and just runs at the thing that hurt him, and he raised 2 fingers and caught the axe and kept going. Steve Rogers shows up twice across the Doomsday marketing and looks like a completely different person each time, and the gap between those 2 versions is the detail the trailers haven't explained yet. The December teaser showed him clean-shaven with short hair, looking like the man from the end of Endgame who finally got the life he'd given up, settled, at peace, all of it. The CinemaCon trailer showed him with long hair and a full beard in civilian clothes, which is the exact look he had in Infinity War when he'd been underground for 2 years and operating outside every system he'd ever built. The theory that makes the most sense is that his own timeline starts unraveling when the incursions hit, the branch he created by going back, the one that was never supposed to exist, and watching that second life fall apart is what pulls him back out looking like a man who already knows how this kind of thing ends and came anyway. He says "Hey pal" to Thor and holds out his hand, and Mjolnir tears free from Thor's grip and comes to him. Thor says that's not possible.
Hey, buddy. It's impossible.
The crowd in Las Vegas got loud enough that Disney ran the whole trailer from the beginning a second time. Then there's what Marvel quietly removed from the earlier teasers before anyone was supposed to notice. The final group shot in the Wakanda and Fantastic Four teaser had something compositionally wrong with it. Fans going frame by frame were finding gaps in the arrangement, negative space where the shot didn't balance the way it should. When the full CinemaCon trailer dropped, that same shot had Sue Storm visible in the background of the handshake between Ben Grimm and M'Baku, along with Bucky Barnes and Joaquin Torres, all 3 of whom had been digitally removed from the earlier version. Sue's connection to Franklin, the 5-year-old Doom was kneeling in front of in the Fantastic Four post-credits scene, is clearly woven through this whole film, and showing her standing in that specific room at that specific moment gives away something about where the story is heading that Marvel wasn't ready to show. Bucky being in that building at all means something went sideways with wherever he was supposed to be, and Torres standing there means Sam Wilson's new Avengers and the original Avengers have already come together in the same location, which means whatever kept those 2 groups operating separately is already finished. Marvel edited 3 characters whose presence in that frame tells you things about the story that the marketing wasn't ready to hand over yet. Across every trailer, every promo image, every social post since the Comic-Con announcement, Doom is the same in every single frame. While Thor is giving speeches about dead friends to a room full of strangers, and Steve Rogers is coming out of a life that got taken from him, and 3 groups of heroes who've never shared a building are already fighting each other on sight, Doom is standing somewhere watching all of it with his hands folded and his voice completely level. He came in with "we" and sympathy for the devil playing, and everyone else's symbols sitting on the outside of his chest, and nothing that's happening around him is landing like a surprise because he's the one who made it happen. The first 2 acts of this movie are those 3 factions grinding against each other while Doom waits, and what's left becomes Battle World. Something's coming, something we may not be able to deter. He was standing inside the thing he built, describing it like a warning in front of people who had no idea they were already in the middle of his plan when he walked in and said "we."